I went on a hunting trip last fall. I needed a break from work. I'm a construction worker, and I love being outdoors. I thought the Appalachian Mountains would be perfect. I wanted to get away and find the forgotten places in the woods. After a long hike, I found an old cabin. It was surrounded by tall trees, and I felt at peace. I thought I could really unwind there. Little did I know what would happen. At night, on my second day, I sat by the fire. The flames flickered quietly, and I listened to the wood crackle. Suddenly, I heard rustling in the bushes. I brushed it off. It was just a deer, or maybe a raccoon. But then I heard laughter. It was strange and echoed through the trees. It sounded like children playing. My stomach dropped. I felt uneasy. I tried to ignore it, thinking it was all in my head. The next morning, I went for a walk. The woods were thick and quiet. I looked for tracks, hoping to see some wildlife. That's when I stumbled upon odd footprints near the cabin. They were too small, and they felt wrong. They weren't any animal tracks I knew. I felt a chill creep up my spine. What kid would be out there? I looked around, but the forest was still. It was probably an animal. I shook it off and headed back. When night came again, I sat by the fire. I just wanted to relax, but the feeling wouldn't go away. The laughter returned, louder this time. My heart raced. I looked around, trying to figure out where it came from. The shadows were dark, and everything felt wrong. Was someone playing a trick on me? On the third day, I thought about looking under the cabin. Maybe I'd find some answers about the footprints. I crawled under and reached in. My hand touched something hard. I pulled it out. It was an old toy car, worn and dusty. It wasn't there for me. I stood up, feeling sick. Who left this here? I wanted to forget it, but the laughter haunted me. When night fell again, I thought about leaving early. The laughter grew louder. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I felt cold. It was like something was watching me. The shadows got closer. That laugh didn't feel like it came from the air anymore. It felt like it was just beyond the trees, playing with me. Then it changed. The laughter turned into whispers. "Come play with us." They sounded innocent, but something was off. I froze. My arms were covered in goosebumps. Who's there? I wanted to yell, but I couldn't. I glanced outside. I saw shapes in the dark. 2 figures, maybe children. I blinked, and they vanished. My heart raced. I couldn't breathe. In that moment, I knew I wasn't alone anymore. The next morning, I woke up feeling restless. I needed to get out of that cabin. The laughter haunted me in my dreams. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I packed my things and decided to hike deeper into the woods, hoping to clear my mind and find some comfort away from the cabin. As I walked, the trees grew thicker. Sunlight barely pierced through the canopy. After a while, I stumbled upon a creek. The water was clear and inviting, but an unsettling chill ran through me as I approached it. I knelt down to take a drink, and that's when I noticed it. There were more footprints, smaller than before, but this time they looked as if they were leading away from the creek. I stood up quickly, my heart pounding. "No way," I muttered under my breath. I hadn't heard anything earlier, just the sound of the water. Were they really there? I pondered the idea of following the tracks, but what if they belonged to those kids or whatever they were? I tightened my grip on my backpack and turned to head back to the cabin. I had enough of this weirdness. But something deep inside urged me to keep going. Maybe I'd find clues about those whispers. I followed the prints for what felt like an eternity. My breath quickened as I spotted something in the distance. It looked like a small clearing. As I stepped into it, a sharp breeze whipped past me. The area felt dense, heavy with secrets. In the center stood a large, gnarled tree. Its branches twisted in unnatural ways, as if grasping at the sky. Then I noticed something smaller at the base of the tree. A doll, an old, dirt-covered doll. Its face was cracked and missing an eye. I took a step closer, my chest tightening. The memories of the laughter flooded back. This doll felt like a piece of a much larger puzzle. I picked it up gingerly, and the moment I did, the laughter returned, echoing around me. It felt more present, more menacing. I dropped the doll, my hands trembling. I turned to leave, but the whisper started again, louder this time. "Come play with us." It wasn't just playful now. It held a sense of urgency that shot fear through my veins. I stumbled backward, looking around wildly. The shadows seemed to twist and stretch unnaturally. That's when I saw it, a shape darting between the trees, an outline of a child, pale and dark-eyed. "No, no," I muttered. I turned on my heels, running. I couldn't think. I pushed through the underbrush, branches scratching my arms. All I wanted was to get back to the cabin. The laughter turned into cries, chasing me as I ran. I thought I heard footsteps behind me, quick and light. I didn't dare look back. I burst out of the woods and saw the cabin up ahead, the familiar sight giving me a glimmer of hope. But just before I reached it, everything went dark. The world around me shifted, the sound of laughter fading into an unsettling silence. I felt a presence behind me, and a whisper lingered in the air. "You shouldn't have come here." Panic set in as the real dread of what I had stumbled into sank in. I woke up with a jolt. My heart was racing. I squinted against the dim light filtering through the cabin window. Everything seemed normal, but the memories of the laughter and shadows loomed large. I sat up slowly, every noise outside making me tense. I was alone. The other hunters had long since left, but I still couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't truly alone out there. I needed to gather my thoughts, figure out my next move. But the woods felt different now, heavy, like the air had thickened. I pushed open the cabin door and stepped outside. The chill nipped at my skin. I could hardly remember my way back to the clearing, but I felt drawn to it. Maybe I'd find more clues. I headed deeper into the woods, my breath coming quicker. The atmosphere felt charged, as if something was watching. As I reached the clearing, the gnarled tree stood ominously against the pale sky. I had to know what it meant. Kneeling by the base of the tree, I saw the dirt had been disturbed. I brushed my fingers through the earth, revealing more of the doll. It looked almost as if it had been buried intentionally. That's when I noticed the ground wasn't just disheveled. Small objects were scattered around. I picked one up, a tiny metallic key. It was tarnished, and a shiver crept up my spine. What could this open? I wondered aloud. I searched the area, looking for anything that seemed out of place. Then a sudden rustle of leaves caught my attention. I froze. The laughter returned, but now it echoed like a taunt, filling the clearing. Panic flooded me again. I turned to find the source of the sound. My eyes darted around, scanning the trees. Just the wind, I told myself, trying to calm down. But something inside urged me to run. I took a step back toward the cabin when suddenly a voice came, childlike and sweet. "Don't leave us." My heart dropped. The intuition led me back to the doll. Why had I not thrown it away when I had the chance? I backed away, still clutching the key. As I turned to flee, I saw figures looming among the trees, their outlines fading in and out like an echo. They looked like children, their dark eyes fixed on me. A primal fear ignited within me. Suddenly, something brushed my leg. I yelped and stumbled, falling into the underbrush. The laughter erupted again, sharper this time. I scrambled to my feet. The clearing felt like a trap closing in around me. In my panic, I caught a glimpse of something on a nearby tree trunk. It was a carving, words scratched into the bark. Help!
Us. I shivered, the child's voice reverberating in my mind. What did they want? With no time to think, I bolted back toward the cabin. But as I ran, the trees shifted around me. I could feel them closing in, branches grasping like fingers. Just as I reached the cabin door, I heard the whisper again, more insistent this time. You belong to us now. I froze. The door wouldn't open. Something was on the other side. Desperate, I whirled around to face the growing shadows. I had stumbled into something far worse than I understood, and now I had to confront what awaited me. I stood frozen, heart pounding against my ribs like a caged animal. The door wouldn't budge, no matter how hard I pulled at the handle. Panic clawed at my throat, threatening to choke me. I could feel the shadows drawing closer, creeping out from the trees, their laughter echoing, a chilling symphony of helplessness. "Please, don't do this," I whispered, though I knew it was pointless. I pressed my back against the cold wood, trying to find any weakness in it. That's when I heard it again, clearer now. "You belong to us," the voice sang, sweet and haunting. Suddenly, the laughter stopped. Silence enveloped me like a heavy blanket. It felt much worse than the noise. My mind raced. How could I escape? I forced myself to turn and face the trees. The outlines of the children flickered in and out of view, their expressions almost playful, but their eyes glistened with malice. I needed to think. There was the key. What if it could unlock something? I squeezed it tightly in my palm, the cold metal grounding me just a little. But what did it fit? My eyes landed on the small shed behind the cabin. It was old and weathered, a relic of a time before this haunted place. Maybe there was something inside that could help. I took a deep breath and sprinted toward the shed, heart racing with every step. I could hear the whispers again, urging me to turn back, to join them. But I pressed on. I reached the door of the shed and fumbled for the handle, flinging it open with a creak that echoed ominously. Inside, dust floated in the stale air. Old tools lay scattered about, cobwebs draped over everything like shrouds. I quickly scanned the room, looking for anything out of place. A rickety shelf caught my eye. Underneath it, half buried in the dirt, was a small trunk, its latch rusted and its wood worn. My hands trembled as I reached for it. The key felt warm in my pocket, almost burning against my skin. I knelt down, brushing off the dirt. The lock looked like it could use a good shove, but before I could try, I heard another rustle outside. I froze. The children's laughter returned, louder than before. They were closer. I could hear their footsteps crunching through the fallen leaves. I felt backed into a corner. With renewed determination, I inserted the key into the lock. It turned surprisingly easily, and I lifted the lid. Inside, I found a collection of odd trinkets, broken toys, scraps of fabric, and what looked like a journal. The pages were tattered, but one clearly stood out. It read, "If you hear our laughter, don't play the game." What game? My head spun. I could feel the air grow colder, a presence building behind me. I turned to look, and the children were there. Ethereal forms flickering in the dim light. "You're supposed to join us," one of them said, a girl with curly hair and empty eyes. I managed to raise the journal, a flimsy shield. "Stay back," I yelled, but the words felt weak even to me. I knew I was outnumbered and overwhelmed. Then, everything went dark.
The shed seemed to shudder as reality twisted around me. I had to find a way out, but deep down, I feared that the woods had already claimed me. I blinked, the darkness swallowing me whole for a brief moment. When my vision cleared, I was no longer in the shed. I stood in the middle of the woods, surrounded by towering trees that loomed like giants. The air was heavy, and the laughter of the children echoed in the distance, teasing and beckoning. I spun around, heart racing. I could faintly see the shed behind me, but it flickered like a mirage. I could feel their presence all around me, those children, wondering if they were real or just remnants of my mind playing tricks. "Where are you?" I called out, my voice trembling. There was no answer, only that maddening laughter again, drawing me in. I took a hesitant step forward, but the ground beneath me felt unstable. Then I remembered the journal. I quickly reached into my pocket, knowing it was still there. As my fingers grazed the worn pages, the laughter grew louder, echoing in my ears. I opened it again. "Don't play the game." I had to know what that meant. As I flipped through the journal, desperate to find answers, I saw sketches of children playing, but their eyes were dark, empty. Something about them felt wrong, sinister. Each page seemed to absorb the fading light around me, as if they were alive. Then I noticed a passage tucked away in the corner of one page. "To escape the game, you must find the heart of the woods." My breath hitched. What heart? The trees? The whispers? I was drowning in a memory I couldn't grasp. Suddenly, the laughter morphed into cries, and I felt the weight of the presence draw nearer. A shadow flitted between the trees, a fleeting shape, too quick to recognize. My instincts kicked in. I had to move. I didn't know what I was running from, but I didn't want to find out. I turned and sprinted deeper into the woods, branches grabbing at my clothes like fingers. Each step, the cries grew louder, more frantic. The laughter was gone, replaced by angry shouts. "Join us! Join us!" They echoed through the trees, resonating with the darkened sky above. It wasn't long before I stumbled into a clearing. The air was eerily calm, contrasting with the chaos behind me. In the center stood a colossal gnarled tree, its roots sprawling like serpents. I felt an irresistible pull, like the trunk was alive, whispering to me with promises of forgotten secrets. I approached cautiously, but instinct urged me to stay away. Just then, I glimpsed something out of the corner of my eye behind me. It was a figure, a boy, no older than 10, his face pale and expression twisted in sorrow. "You can't run," he said, voice barely above a whisper, but it sent a chill through me. Then I saw it, the shed materializing again, just beyond the clearing. The boys and girls swarmed like shadows around me, pushing closer, taunting. Panic surged inside me. I bolted toward the shed, but they moved faster, blocking my way, their eyes now glowing ominously. I felt trapped. There had to be a way out. I could either confront them and demand answers, or race toward that flickering shed, hoping it held the key to my survival. Time was running out, and they were closing in. I hesitated, the weight of their cruel eyes pressing down on me. The shadowy figures of the children moved like whispers through the trees, relentless and taunting. "Join us! Join us!" Their voices melded together in a chilling chorus. I could see their faces now, contorted with such longing, such desperation. I had to make a choice. I pivoted toward the shed, my mind racing. It flickered like a flame, promising safety and answers, if only I could reach it. But something in the depths of the woods called to me too. The gnarled tree stood still, its roots pulsing as if it shared a heartbeat with the forest. I took a step back from the advancing children and then tore toward the shed, weaving through the trees. Twigs snapped beneath my feet, and behind me I could hear the echoes of their laughter morphing back into those eerie cries. My heart raced in rhythm with my hurried breaths. As I neared the shed, I felt a sudden chill, a presence that made my skin crawl. I stumbled to a stop, glancing back. The children's forms flickered in and out like a dying light. They reached for me, fingers stretched, pulling at my resolve. "Don't leave us," one of them wailed. "Stop it," I shouted, desperation flooding my voice. I felt overwhelmed. "What do you want from me?" My words hung in the air, swallowed by the silence that followed. They only stared, their eyes dark and unyielding. I turned back to the shed, and in that moment I saw something protruding from the ground near its base. 2 small, rusted chains dragging into the earth.
The sight filled me with dread, but also curiosity. What were they keeping trapped under there? "I'll come back," I yelled, my reasoning faltering under pressure. I took one last look at those children, so lost, so desperate, and dashed for the familiar door of the shed. The moment I reached the threshold, I shoved my shoulder against it. It groaned and creaked as I forced my way inside. It was darker than before, every nook filled with shadows. The air felt thick like fog. Crouched in the corner was the journal, glowing faintly. As I reached for it, a loud bang erupted from outside, shaking the shed violently. I froze, heart hammering. The laughter surged again, now intermingled with whispers that crawled under my skin. "You chose wrong," they wailed, their voices dripping with malice. Then, out of the darkness, a figure stepped forward. It was the same boy from the clearing, but his eyes were now ablaze with fury. "You can't escape," he hissed. "The game doesn't end until you play." I backed away, trembling, glancing around for any means of escape. That's when I noticed the journal's pages flicker open on their own, revealing the next passage. My breath caught in my throat. It read, "To confront the truth, you must face what hides beneath." I didn't understand. What truth? What lay beneath? Panic surged again as shadows loomed outside the shed. The children were still there, still wanting, no, needing something from me. Time twisted, no longer linear. It felt like the walls were closing in, and I could sense their eagerness to drag me back into the chaos. With every passing second, I felt the danger deepen. I had no choice. I had to uncover the truth. But as the laughter crescendoed around me, I knew it wouldn't be easy. The heart of the woods was calling, and I had to answer. I clutched the journal tightly, feeling its worn cover beneath my fingertips. The boy with the burning eyes loomed closer, and the shadows outside thickened. I could hear distant rustling now, the children's whispers mingling with something heavier, more sinister. The air felt electric, as if a storm was brewing just out of sight. "Face what hides beneath," I repeated under my breath, desperately searching my mind for meaning. Could it be related to those chains? I hesitated for a moment. There was no way I could unearth whatever it was without confronting those children again. Their eyes were filled with an unquenchable need, a longing that made my stomach twist. "Play the game," the boy sneered, as if he could read my thoughts. I took another instinctive step back, bumping against the wall of the shed. It felt like an anchor, grounding me against the madness just outside. But I couldn't stay hidden forever. I forced myself to look down at the journal again. The words seemed to shimmer in the dim light. I flicked through its pages frantically, until I landed on a sketch that sent a jolt of cold dread through me. It depicted the gnarled tree. The way it loomed, its roots splayed out like fingers grasping at something underground. Surrounding it were pale faces, those of the children, their mouths open in silent screams.
"What is this place?" I whispered, terrified of the answer. A loud crash echoed outside, and I jumped. The laughter transformed into a cacophony of shrieks. "He's here!" a voice cried, infused with wild panic. I felt the walls of the shed vibrate with their desperation, as if the wood itself were pleading for me to emerge. I cast one last look at the boy, whose face writhed with fury. "You have to choose now. Will you play?" Just then, my eyes fell on the chains again. They looked worn, rusted, but still sturdy. What had they been holding? The urge to know clawed at me. I glanced again at the open journal, at the cryptic line I had already read twice. If I was going to confront the truth, I had to start from where it all began. I turned toward the door, my heart racing. The laughter outside intensified, a sick blend of mockery and glee. "Come out to play!" I took a breath and stepped forward. The door creaked open, and I was met with a wall of shadow. With trembling hands, I pushed through, ready to face the children. But instead of the clearing, I found myself staring at the gnarled tree, looming right in front of me. That's when I saw it, a glimmer at the base of the tree, where the chains disappeared into the earth. A metallic sheen that caught the fading light. My breath caught in my throat as I realized it was a lock. Suddenly, the temperature dropped, my skin prickling and warning. A new presence filled the air, one that was more powerful, more menacing than any of the children. I could feel it watching me from the depths of the woods, and I knew in that instant, I hadn't just found the game, I had awakened something far worse. As I stood frozen, staring at the lock embedded in the ground, an overwhelming sense of dread washed over me. My fingers twitched, aching to reach down and touch it, but something held me back. The whispers of the children were louder now, shrill and desperate. "Open it!" they cried, their voices rising like a storm. The boy with the burning eyes stood behind me, a twisted smile stretching across his face. "What will you do?" he taunted, his gaze heavy upon me. I glanced back at him, my heart pounding like a drum. I had a feeling he was waiting to see how I would react. But what if that lock wasn't just a key to the chains? What if it was something far more dangerous? The stories I had heard from the townsfolk echoed in my mind. Tales of those who had come here, who had gotten lost and not returned. What secrets lay buried beneath that tree? As I weighed my options, I felt the chill in the air intensify. A shadow shifted among the trees. I wasn't alone. Taking a step back, I felt the grounding comfort of the tree trunk against my back. But then, the ground shifted again beneath me. I glanced sideways, and what I saw made my stomach twist. Emerging from the shadows, there was a figure. Tall and thin, it moved with a grace that felt wrong against the backdrop of the forest. It was a man. No, a silhouette of a man, with long, thin limbs and a faceless head. The air crackled with its presence, and a low growl resonated from its direction. "Choose wisely," the boy said, his laughter echoing in the dread-filled air. I turned back to the lock, my vision blurring with panic. I felt the urge to bolt, to run back to the safety of the shed, but I knew deep down I couldn't escape this. They wouldn't let me. Then, without thinking, I fell to my knees and dug into the earth beside the lock, my fingers clawing at the dirt. I needed to know what was hidden here. The chains, the screams, everything. The ground was cold and hard, but I persisted, pulling the earth away until my fingers grazed the edges of the lock. It was cold, like ice, and pulsing with an ominous energy. Suddenly, a shriek pierced through the trees. "No!" a voice cried out, sharp enough to slice through the thick tension. The figure in the shadows jerked, its limbs contorting unnaturally as it focused on me. I didn't have time to think. I grasped the lock and twisted it. Everything that followed happened in an instant. The laughter turned to wailing, the shadows thickened, and a blinding light erupted from the ground. I felt a rush of wind, as if the very air was being pulled away. The trees groaned, and the boy with the burning eyes leapt back, fear etched on his face. Then, everything went dark. I was plunged into a void, a cold and suffocating darkness that wrapped around me. I gasped for breath, my mind racing to comprehend what I had done, and all at once I felt the presence again, that sinister force lurking just beyond my reach. It was here, and I had just set it free. I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. The darkness pressed against me like a weight, but soon I realized I wasn't alone. A strange humming surrounded me, like a swarm of bees buzzing just out of sight. I scrambled to my feet, disoriented and frightened, my palms raw from the ground. Where was I? The shadows shifted, and fear clawed at my throat. A pale light flickered in the distance, glancing off the trees. I stumbled toward it, feeling the rough branches scrape against my skin, the air thick with a foul smell.
It was a stark contrast to the whispering voices that filled my memory, now reduced to faint echoes. As I drew closer, the light revealed a clearing I hadn't seen before. Cracked stones gathered in a circle around a large, twisted oak tree. Its branches clawed at the night sky, gnarled and ancient. At its base lay something shiny, the source of the light, a small silver key, unlike anything I had ever seen. Intricate designs twisted over its surface, shimmering with an unnatural glow. But I wasn't alone here either. Shapes shifted amongst the trees, flickering in and out of view. Figures, no, shadows, moved just beyond my sight, always just out of reach. I could feel their eyes on me, burning into my back, pressing down the dread in my chest. Then I heard laughter. It was soft at first, like the rustling of leaves, but quickly grew louder, chilling. The boy with the burning eyes emerged from the darkness, stepping into the soft glow of the clearing. His smile was wide, revealing teeth that seemed too sharp, like a predator on the hunt. "Welcome," he said, tilting his head as if assessing my terror. "You've unlocked the door to the past." "What do you want?" I managed to ask, my voice trembling. He pointed towards the sparkling key, now resting teasingly on the ground. "The real question is, what do you want?" The ground trembled beneath my feet. The whispers returned, a cacophony of voices overlapping, begging and pleading. They sounded familiar. Children's voices, but distorted, filled with grief. I looked back to the boy, my resolve hardening despite the terror coursing through me. I want to know the truth. His laughter faded, replaced by a glimmer of something darker in his eyes. "Ah, but truth isn't free. You must give something in return, something dear to you." Before I could respond, the faceless figure from before emerged in the shadows, its long limbs stretching unnaturally. The air crackled once more, and a sense of foreboding washed over me. I could feel the weight of their gaze, demanding an answer. That's when I saw it. A flash of movement behind me. A small silhouette darted into the light, and my heart dropped. It was a child, familiar but twisted, like a reflection in shattered glass. They reached out to me, their face a mask of sorrow. "Help us!" they cried, their voice trapped in the reverberating darkness. I stumbled back, panic surging within me. I hadn't just unlocked something, I had actually unleashed a nightmare. Suddenly, the shadows grew, swallowing the clearing. The boy with the burning eyes grinned wider, and the child's voice faded into the night. My hands shook as the option lay heavy before me. Take the key and find the answer, or run and risk losing everything. In that moment of decision, I heard their whispers again, drowning out my thoughts. It was clear what I had to do, but I had no idea the extent of the darkness that awaited me. I stood in the clearing, the shimmering key glistening under the twisted oak tree. Fear mingled with a pressing urgency. There was an ancient weight to the moment, as if lingering eyes were stitched into the fabric of the woods. Whatever lay before me had waited for my intrusion, and now it demanded a choice. The boy with the burning eyes stared, an expectant grin stretching across his face. "What's your answer?" His voice dripped with disdain, as if my very terror excited him. I hesitated. The child's voice, so familiar, echoed in my mind, pleading for help. Help us. The whisper of the trees seemed to carry their sorrow, or was it just the memory of those lost echoes? I couldn't shake the sensation of being trapped, an unwilling player in a game with far too many stakes. The boy took a step closer, his shadow lengthening as the shadows around us shifted, eager, restless. To know the truth, give a piece of yourself. What will you sacrifice? I could feel the pulse of the key in my pocket, thrumming with the desire to uncover the depths of the wood's secrets. But what price would I pay? Every instinct screamed to run, to turn my back on this forsaken place. Yet when I glanced back at the crossing silhouettes of children twisted in the agony of their eternal cries, I hesitated, the conflict in my chest unraveling. I want to help them, I stammered, unsure of what that even meant. But I can't just give anything. The boy's laughter splintered the air, a haunting melody of mockery. Then you are bound by indecision. The longer you linger, the tighter the grip of the woods. His shadows twisted around him, shapes crawling into the recesses of my mind with each passing second. I refuse to play your game, I said, newfound determination coursing through me, but doubt gnawed at the edges. If I turned my back on what I had come to understand, would I be sealing their fates and mine? He stepped back, arms wide, a theatrical display that perfectly encapsulated the chaos around us. There is no escape. You are already part of it. Suddenly, the clearing pulsed with a forceful gust. The gnarled branches thrashed, and the ground trembled beneath me. The laughter morphed, swirling with echoes of cries and pleas that rose like bile in my throat. They were calling for help, but also for retribution. Their cries echoed against the twisted roots of the tree that loomed ominously, each twist and turn a silent witness to their despair. My mind raced. Maybe the key wasn't just a gateway to their secrets. Perhaps it was the tool to free them. But the price, what would I have to sacrifice? I couldn't lose them again. I couldn't stand by while their tormented faces flickered in and out of my memory, their eyes pleading, trapped in this liminal state. Driven by a sudden rush of desperation, I lunged for the shimmering key. "No!" the boy shouted as I grabbed it, and the ground heaved violently. The whispers crescendoed into a maddening chorus of voices, each one intertwining with the others and filling the air like a thunderclap. I felt the wind whip around me, and as I held the key, the whispers transformed into distinct voices, crying out for deliverance. "Open the heart," they urged. "Help us escape." With my heart racing, I approached the base of the gnarled tree. Tremors coursed through the earth, the very fabric of the woods shifting and trembling in anticipation, and I felt the eyes of the shadows upon me. "Choose wisely," the boy hissed again, but this time with a tremor of something more uncertain, as if even he understood that the balance had shifted. I could hear the thrumming pulse of the key resonate with the tree, vibrating in tandem with the cries for help. I knelt before the lock entwined in the roots, my hands trembling. A dark force loomed close, threatening to snatch away my courage. With desperate resolve, I locked my gaze on the keyhole. "Please,"
I whispered as I inserted the key. "Please." The moment it turned, all at once, everything dissolved. The shadows, the childlike figures, the boy, the twisted tree faded. The laughter erupted into screams that split the air, their sharpness cutting into my soul. I could feel the ground ripple beneath me, a great churning, as if the earth was spewing forth those lost spirits. And just like that, I was enveloped in chaos, a whirlwind of whispers and shadows erupting around me, collapsing, merging into a blinding light. I felt myself being pulled, yanked into the very heart of the woods. My eyes fluttered open as I landed unceremoniously on the cold, damp forest floor. I gasped for breath, the hushed voices fading into silence. The sun broke through the canopy above, filtering golden light through the leaves, and for the first time since my arrival, the woods felt serene, devoid of the haunting heaviness that had clung to me. But as I pulled myself to my feet, unease settled in. The child's voice echoed faintly in my mind, still plaintive and filled with sorrow. "Help us." I darted my gaze around. The gnarled tree stood tall behind me, barren yet familiar, but untouched by the horrors I had faced. The shed appeared in the distance, a spectral outline against the light. I blinked rapidly, my heart racing. Had I escaped, or had I merely nudged the game from one chapter into another? I took a cautious step toward the path leading away from the cabin, still unsure if I was completely free. I thought about those whispers, the children, and the twisted boy. Their presence etched indelibly into the fabric of my mind. The woods around me felt still, yet I couldn't shake the feeling that something remained hidden. Their laughter lingered in my ears, even if dulled, tapping at the edges of my consciousness, whispering questions yet to be answered. Had peace really settled, or was this just a momentary reprieve? As I emerged from the woods, that uncertainty stayed with me. I could feel the shadows trail behind, lingering at the fringes of reality. The game may have changed, but I knew it was not over. I would always carry their echoes, a muted symphony of laughter and cries, for they had become part of me.